With all the recent and previous arrests of Tupac Shakur's suspects that involved in his killing or death, his father came out with further details on who he thinks were also in the death of his son Tupac Shakur. You know very well that Tupac, at only the age of 25, was one of the most popular artists in the world. A lot of people know him nation to nation. He is loved and he was loved. You know very well that when people pass, people forget them, but Tupac is someone that is always on people's minds when it comes to hip-hop and entertainment industry. His father has something he says and calling out for the arrest of Diddy, Keefe, prior to the death of his son. Let us watch this and let me know what you think about it in the comment section. Kindly keep the comments respectful. The video is credited to Art of the Dialogue. Thank you.
All the dialogue. I'm Will Garland, father of Tupac Shakur. You did some interviews in the past and you approached me again. I'm glad it was you because I like the way you do things. Okay, thank you. Let's get right into it. With the recent arrest of Keefe, how do you feel about that in relation to the murder of your son Tupac Shakur?
That's a tough one, but it's very clear he's just a tool. He's always been a tool. And it's just time that they used him for what they wanted to use him. Because if you couldn't see it, it was the government, Justice Department, the LAPD, the Las Vegas Police Department, and several other entities. Anytime, a black man gets strong, that has the potential to lead other black people, he's not going to survive. They name a street after you. They give you a star on the street, but you're gone, and your desire to do what you wanted to do is gone with it.
Absolutely.
Tupac was a leader, and he was going to put away all that silly stuff, all that East Coast, West Coast shit, and he was going to get back to the basic of educating people, not just black people, all people, about the contradictions in society.
And so, like I said, when in the situation involving Keefe his arrest, why do you think that they decided to do it now?
One, let's be very honest, he's not a very intelligent individual.
Okay.
When you go on air and say you participated in a high-scale assassination, eventually it's going to come back on you. I was surprised he went that far, that long without them arresting him. He was involved in it. He was in the car. That's aiding and abetting in a murder. But he was doing his part with the rest of the people who were talking about the Orlando Anderson. He was fulfilling that glitch. He was adding to their truth, which we all know wasn't true. We know a lot of other things, particularly death row. But anyway,
right. The fact that Keefe wasn't the shooter, does it mean any more or any less? Or are you happy that somebody is actually being charged who admittingly was involved with the murder of your son Tupac Shakur?
I think it does absolutely nothing. I'm just as empty by the loss of my son as the rest of the world is. Everybody can see through this thin veil of deceit. It was ridiculous. They didn't believe it when he was on YouTube and Vad every week talking that stupid stuff. He's just not an intelligent individual. And the people they use to fabricate their story, their belief, are not usually intelligent. And I don't feel bad that, in fact, he got arrested, but I don't think it's closure. I think it's still open to debate. But I don't think we'll ever find out who really did the shooting. But we know it wasn't the one individual. And I don't think he might have been involved in it, Keefe, but he was a pawn. He was being used. Basically, maybe by the government, maybe by death row. But death row and the government is one and the same at this particular time.
Okay.
Not for nothing.
Yeah. And so the fact that he wasn't the shooter and he was arrested, you feel good, bad, indifferent?
Well, no, I have no feelings about it whatsoever, because it's not true. if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's not the truth. It's just another pawn being moved in the game of chess. To just move the pieces around to create that gray area, to create that continual story that we don't know who did it. It could be anybody.
Okay.
And that's what they want. And even if we found that, if a man came up out of the woodwork tomorrow and said he did it, who would believe him? In light of what's been happening lately with this.
Based on the conspiracies and
every story,
all of the misinformation and things like that.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
They just keep throwing mud on the wall and something sticks.
Right.
That's what they do. That's what the government does. They gray it. They just keep, never black and white. We just keep throwing shit up there and make it gray.
Right.
And you got people talking. You can still some people talking he's in Mexico. Some people talking he's in Cuba drinking pina coladas. I mean, come on. Who stays away for 27 years from fame and glory?
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. So
it's kind of like Tupac said in his lyrics. They like Judas was the Jesus. They came to create confusion.
That's all. Basically, I feel. Yeah.
Okay. Keefe D at one point was a baller. He was getting money, drug kingpin or whatever. The fact that he couldn't afford a lawyer at the time he was arrested and had to settle for a public defender says what to you about it?
They didn't pay him very much. Death row didn't pay him enough, obviously. Not for nothing. Right. That's ridiculous. But he had to foresee that he was gonna have some conflict down the road. He's getting on TV every week. Every week I've seen a video of him saying, I did this. I was in the car. I did this. You can't do that. You can't thumb your nose consistently at justice. You can get away with it once in a while, but when you do it consistently, someone has to answer for it. And I guess he's got to answer. Do you think I think he was involved? Yes, I do, one way or the other. Do I think he was in charge? Do I think that he came up with this idea on his own? I disagree with that. I think he was a tool. I think he was a pawn being used. And they used him well. Look how long it took him from the arrest. 27 years. Mm-hmm. His story is written in stone now. His story is written in granite. Orlando Anderson. If you ask the average individual in the world, who killed Tupac, they would say Orlando Anderson. Same thing with the Kennedys. The same thing with Lee Harvey Oswald. They would all say that because they don't know any better. And humans tend to go with their first inclination, the first bit of information that they get that satisfies their curiosity. And they accept it. And that was the easy one to accept, especially since it lasted 27 years that Orlando Anderson was the shooter. The man who said he did not see Anderson shoot Tupac was his boy, and he was killed months later.
You talking about Yakup?
Yeah.
Right.
Only viable witness. Why would you kill him?
Yeah, that's very important. I found it, kind of ironic myself that, at the end of the day, he wasn't able to afford a lawyer.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Right.
But who's going to pay for it? The government's not. Death row. Whoever comes up and steps up to aid him in his defense looks like co-conspirators.
Right.
So he'll never get anybody with some money to do that.
Right.
He can start a GoFundMe if he wants to. I'm just joking because he's always talking how tough and shit he is on YouTube. Bragging and downing on my son. He said some shit that was just disparaging. He should have known. He shouldn't get away with doing what he did. Yeah. Talk down about the world loves Tupac. How dare you? And then you might be the possible shooter, and his death kind of makes everybody believe you did do it.
Right. So are you referring to when he said that Tupac was breakdancing in the front seat of the car trying to get away from the bullet?
A lot of little stuff he said. Yeah. A lot of little stuff he said. A lot of little stuff. But that wasn't a hard hit. And what you do is pull up just fucking far from the other car. And people think that, well, sure, my baby did kill. You're not firing directly. This is Cadillac pulling up. You pull up real close. We're talking about 6 inches away. But you pull up on the angle. You have to understand it's a slight angle. And you're shooting back. Shooting like got hit with a piece of glass. He was not imitating talk. How you gonna miss a 350 fat fuck like him? Excuse me for cursing. If you were shooting into a car. So, It was a sign hit and a sign assassination. We knew who the target was. We knew how it went down. Same way with Biggie. They both were the same way. And the same people probably were involved. But I have no, getting back to him, it's just a tool. His name doesn't even need to be mentioned anymore. It was just a tool. He was used. Keefe did. He had his 15 minutes of fame. With his, promotion, his book, whatever he did, he got a few dollars, but he pushed it. If you're a criminal, you have a sight out of mind. You don't get in front of lights and say, I did this, or it's with the person who did this. You just don't do that.
With all that you have watched and the recent allegations of P. Diddy, aka Diddy, rapes, assassinations, killings, violence, and all that, let me know what you think. What do you learn from these incidences and that of Bishop T.D. Jakes? What do you think about all this, and where does this leave the legacy of Diddy? Let us know what you learn from this. But to me, humanity is humanity. I'll conclude like that. And kindness costs nothing. We condemn all acts that are inhuman, and whichever authorities that are responsible for all these allegations, I hope they take their immediate action and dig deep into this. Whoever is concerned should come in and take action and do the needful. Our thoughts and prayers still goes out to Tupac's family and all the people that loved him, and may his soul keep on resting in peace. You are watching Taj News Media, and please consider subscribing and turning on your bells so that you don't miss out on anything that we upload. I love you guys and stay safe. Bye bye.